NASCAR Coast to Coast, presented by Hercules Tire.
An hour of NASCAR touring, regional and local racing from around the country. Now your host for NASCAR Coast to Coast, a guy who is very dangerous on a go-kart track, and a guy who's very dangerous around hotel fountains. Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long.
A new winner races into victory lane in Alabama, while a familiar face opens the Southern Modified season atop the leaderboard, and the NASCAR K&N West Series opens their season this weekend. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast for Wednesday, March 16th, 2016. Kyle Rickey, Buddy Long with you. And, Buddy, busy weekend for NASCAR touring. We had that long break after opening up the East Series at New Smyrna Speedway. Two of them on the racetrack this past weekend, and the NASCAR K&N West Series set to open up this week.
And again, the Modifieds of the Whelen Southern Modified Tour will be right back in action again. I saw you move back down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to put the chin right down to the top of the table.
No.
Maybe we'll do that in the second segment. But, yeah, touring series action in full bloom as pretty much spring is just about here. The weather's great, and two very great stories to talk about with Burt Myers and Tyler Dippel taking the big victories over the weekend.
Burt Myers picking up the race win on a green-white checker finish at the Davis Roofing 150 at Caraway Speedway this past weekend, his 17th series win, and obviously the early point leader coming out of their first event going into the Concord Speedway this weekend. The first time the Modifieds race at Concord, or have raced at Concord since 2009. Ted Christopher, the big winner on that afternoon 7 years ago now.
I'm not going to do the math, but Teddy's going to be back.
Yeah,
and
he
it
is.
was so cool to see the entry list and know that he's not only coming back, but the 00.
Yep.
Brian Brady, obviously the owner now, but of course in memory pretty much of Joe Brady.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 8 drivers. Actually, I'd say 8 cars. I want to say drivers, but it is cars. That ran that race in 2009 that are back for this event. Rowan Pennick is another one. And you got a lot of history coming back because Rowan's in the Bowler number 3 car. He's in Old Blue this year on the Whelen Modified Tour. Jason and Burt Myers, obviously. Andy Seiss, George Brunholzer III. I'm going to miss somebody. I was going to add Danny Bone in there, but it was really Frank Fleming who was there back in 2009. But Danny with a very successful debut in Frank's car over the weekend at Caraway as well. So a lot of good drivers that are coming back, which should make up a very good field in a return back to Concord Speedway.
Where did Andy Seiss finish in that first and only race in 2009?
Dead last.
He has only got one way to go, and that is
Yeah.
finishing 20th. I believe a mechanical issue put him out early on that afternoon back in 2009 at Concord Speedway. I'm looking forward to it because I can go this weekend. I wish you were going to be there with me,
I
but
could,
Craig and I are going to be there.
Yeah, I chose to go home. I haven't been home in about 10 weeks, so
See
it's
the
time
family.
to see them and pay bills.
There
You
you
know,
go.
you pay a penalty when you move away from home,
Mhm.
and when you come back, you got to pay a fee to get back in. Number one to the state, then the county, and then the driveway, and they're all waiting for you. Like, oh, you're gone this long. Hey, you got to pay a fee to get back in. So, what's interesting and what's really surprising, and you and I have talked to different drivers about the Concord Speedway, the course, getting their take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Burt won the pole years ago, but a speed of 118 miles an hour, which blows my mind, really. I mean, I've been to Concord. You have as well.
Yep.
I just kind of find it hard to believe that you can get almost 120 miles an hour around that
Average.
racetrack. Yeah.
Don't lift on
No.
the backstretch.
No.
Because I think I've been there 3 times, and I've seen some pretty nasty wrecks, 3 or 4
Yeah.
times. I've seen some pretty nasty wrecks on the back straightaway just because drivers lift. They check up the rest of the field.
Yeah.
Car usually gets airborne because of it, because they're going so fast. It's a wild place, but a fun place to watch a race. And I can't wait this Saturday afternoon. Race number 2 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, Southern Modified Tour at Concord Speedway. They get younger every year. 15 years old. The newest winner of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, Tyler Dippel, making the transition from dirt modifieds to asphalt stock cars and doing it well, winning the rain-delayed race at the Mobile International Speedway, the Mobile 150, which was supposed to run on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Nature dumped about a lot of rain, several inches,
You'd
maybe
be a good weather forecaster.
foot of
Talked
rain.
about a lot of rain.
A lot of rain. And they ran the race on Sunday, and he came out the big winner.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the keys was tire management, keeping the
Mhm.
tires on that car and doing a very good job. And again, that continues to impress me. We've seen it with so many drivers, not only in the East and West, how so very mature they are in keeping a good car underneath of them for an extended period of time. In only his second event, Tyler Dippel did a great job. Had a good top 10 at New Smyrna.
Yep.
Car came away unscathed there and backed it up. So that's trouble coming down the road for a lot of other drivers this year on the K&N Series.
I wonder what class we're going to have to take him out
I
of
know.
to be on the show. He'll be joining us here in about 20 minutes from now. Tyler Dippel holding off Spencer Davis, Jesse Little, Austin Terrio, and Kaz Gralla on Sunday afternoon at the Mobile Speedway in Alabama. So we'll talk to him in a little bit. Noah Gregson will join us as well to preview the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West season opener. And speaking of a entry list, they have a spectacular entry list.
They do.
For the West Series, we're used to 15, 16, 17 cars. I believe there's 25 or 26 on the starting lineup,
yeah,
and
at least 25
and
right
a
now.
very diverse field coming into this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of rookies. I think there's at least 10 rookies, but when you look at who you're talking about, Todd Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Julia Landauer, a few of the rookies that'll be in the field this year, all Bill McAnally drivers. Riley has got some experience there because I believe he did win one of the Truck Series titles there at Irwindale last season, so he's got some laps around the racetrack. Juan Garcia, another driver that was the 2015 recipient of the Wendell Scott Horizon Award last season in his efforts in the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. But you know what's interesting? It's who's not there that I was noticing as well, and it caught me this morning. David Mayhew, right now not on that list. Brandon McReynolds, and James Bickford. And those drivers accounted for 5 of the 13 victories on the K&N Pro Series West last year. So there's some filling of the gaps to do, but you get a very good field that's going to be there.
I think I knew McReynolds was cutting back.
Right.
But
Mayhew kind of surprised me. I didn't see that one coming.
And Bickford is the one that kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there. Trevor Huddleston will be there. Last year's late model champion at the Irwindale Speedway will be in the field. Hannah Newhouse is coming back. A team car to Noah Gregson and Grayson Raz at Jefferson Pitts Racing. She got injured at the Irwindale Speedway. Minor injuries last year, more to the car than to her, but it put her out of the competition for most of the year last year. So she's going to get to, I guess, redeem herself.
Yeah. It's good to see her back, and we truly did miss her because we've had so many great females in our sport. Nicole Behar held her own last year.
Finished second.
On the western side, and
Irwindale,
of course doing a lot of late model racing here in the South this year. But then when you look at who else is going to be there that's not driving, because Irwindale is just around the street from Auto Club Speedway, and this weekend that's where the NASCAR Sprint Cup and Xfinity Series drivers are. Chase Elliott, Brendan Gaughan. Obviously, you knew Brendan was going to go there.
Right.
David Gilliland, you know he's going to be there. David Reagan, Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Cameron, who's the winningest driver at Irwindale. I think he's got 5 victories. He's going to be on hand. Steve Portengay. Ton of celebrities are going to be there. And it kind of reminds me, that's a Western version of New Smyrna.
Right.
You know, everybody goes to New Smyrna because it's right around the time of Daytona.
Yep.
Same thing here with Irwindale.
Going to be a great race on Saturday night for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. Irwindale Speedway, right now 25 cars on their entry list, including Takuma Koga from Japan.
Good for you. You said it, I didn't. Now, why can't you say Cody Rohrbaugh when we do an East race? You can say that name, but you won't say that. I want to call Cody and tell him.
It'll be the first time since 2006 Takuma's going to join us in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. So, again, adding to the flair of the field, some drivers coming over. NTS Motorsports, 2 entries.
Yeah.
From, I guess they ran the
Southwest Tour, yeah.
SRL
Southwest
Tour last year. They're coming over this year with Blaine Roca and Parker Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just loaded from top to bottom. And then you look at Ryan Partridge, a driver that won the championship of this racetrack, 2 or 3 years ago before taking a ride with Bob Brancounty. You mentioned Trevor Huddleston. I mean, from top to bottom, it's a pretty diverse group of drivers, as you mentioned. It should be interesting. It's anybody's race. And, of course, if 2015 it was any indicator, parity's going to reign supreme again because last year Bill McAnally, Bob Brancotti, and Jefferson Pitts Racing, 1, 2, 3 in the championship standings. And I think we're going to see a lot of the same again this year.
Can't wait. We're going to talk to one of those Jefferson Pitts drivers coming up in a little bit in Noah Gregson. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk to one of the veterans of the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. No,
Takuma Myers.
Burt Myers picking up his 17th career win this past weekend at Caraway Speedway. But before the break, we're going to go off the wall with last year's NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion up north, Doug Coby. What is the longest amount of time you've spent in a passenger car without stopping?
I don't know. I used to drive back and forth to Richmond without stopping because I refused to stop for gas or to go to the bathroom. That's a rule that my sister and I have when we travel together is you go to the bathroom when the car needs gas. So when fuel mileage improved, you got to hold it.
What is one goal that you would like to accomplish in life?
This is bad that I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I'd like to, continue to grow a successful real estate business and eventually become wealthy and retire. I'd love to own a racetrack someday, a short track. I've always had my eyes on Waterford Speed Bowl, and I was a few years too late, I guess, to get into that game to buy that place, but maybe someday down the road something would be available, and I would have a lot of money to blow on it and make it a nice special place.
If you could be an animal for a day, what would you be and why?
I'd probably be my dog Archie because he gets more attention than anybody.
If you could be in a movie of your choice, what movie would you choose and which character would you play?
I would be in Goonies by far, and I wouldn't care what character I would play because that was just always a movie since I was a kid growing up that anytime it came on TV I had to watch it no matter what I was doing, and it was just an adventure movie that always got me excited about that kind of stuff. I wish that could happen to me someday, and I still wish that, but I would probably be Mikey because Mikey was the leader and believed in what was going to happen at the end and believed in everything good that was going to save his house. So,
would you rather explore the ocean depths or space, and why?
Oh, space by far. If I could ever stand on the moon and look at Earth, I would die happy if I never came back. So I'm not somebody that would ever want to go to the depths of the ocean. I'm not a huge fan of being in the water. So I would go to space tomorrow if you told me I could.
NASCAR Coast to Coast will be right back on MRN.com.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Spring Break Deals event. Take advantage of O'Reilly's Do It Right rebate and get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Business is a lot like racing. It takes a strong team of pros to succeed. That's why Freightliner Trucks created TeamRunSmart.com, a free online community that connects owner-operators with the trucking industry's A-team. The Team Run Smart pros and coaches help maximize your profitability with real-world advice on everything from fuel-efficient specking to healthy eating to filing taxes. Sign up today to earn rewards and connect with fellow truckers at TeamRunSmart.com.
Stay up to date with the latest news from the NASCAR Garage weekdays on NASCAR Today, midday.
We can enhance the fans' experience, and I think that's what we really need to zero in on and provide.
Hear from the drivers and teams as they chase the 2016 championship trophy.
Change is good in our sport. It re-energizes people, makes everybody, step up to the plate, so to speak.
NASCAR Today, midday, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network, your source for NASCAR news.
This is NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour driver Doug Coby, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to Kyle and Buddy.
And, of course, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour opens up shop in just a couple of weeks at the Icebreaker at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park up in Connecticut.
Good job,
and
Tacoma.
I will be there for that event as well. Can't wait on Sunday, April 10th. Going to be fun. The NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour opened up this past week at the Caraway Speedway, and picking up the win for the 17th time in his history in the tour was Burt Myers. Burt joins us on the guest line now. Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, and congratulations on opening the year once again in victory lane for you and your race team.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Anytime I'm on here, it usually means I won, so I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you had to earn this one. You made it exciting not only for yourself but everybody. After starting up front, you had a little bit of digging to do midway through the event to get back up front. Take everybody through your race on Saturday night.
Well, I thought we had one of the best cars in practice. We were really working hard. And I told somebody it's kind of ironic. We had some crew shirts made, and on the back it says, "Always fast, never satisfied." And I think maybe because it was the first race of the year that maybe I fell victim to that and didn't realize it. My car was pretty good, but I just kept trying to find that little extra, and I guess it paid off for us. I led the majority of the first part of the race, and in our pit stop, we got blocked in, and then after the pit stop, the car wasn't quite as good as it needed to be. And, it's kind of weird how it works. Whenever you come in, I was telling somebody yesterday, in Cup, the guys come in, they throw 4 tires on, and they go out, and their car usually stays just like it was. But for us, we come in and we put 1 new right rear on versus 3 older, wore-out hot tires. and sometimes it can throw your balance off. And we experienced that. So with 25 to go, we decided to come in and switch our left side tires to close our stagger back up. And, man, that's what it took. I think I restarted 10th with 25 to go, was able to make a green-white checkered pass on the outside to win the race. So it was pretty exciting for me, and from talking to the fans, it was exciting for them too.
J.R. Bertuccio hit the wall there with a couple laps to go, brought the final caution out, allowing for that green-white checker finish. Would you been able to get Danny if the caution would not have come out?
It would have been tough. I was just, you analyze everything. You probably overanalyze it. I do. And when I cleared the 11 for second on the next to last restart. And I tried to make a move high and I tried to make a move low. And it would have been difficult I think I had a better car, but that doesn't always mean, that you're going to make the pass. Danny wouldn't have been able to make it really hard on me because he wouldn't have been able to close the door, so I couldn't get position. By having a green-white checkered restart and allowing me to start on the outside, that I had the position up beside him there, I was able to make an easier pass. But I'd like to think that I could have got him, but it would have probably, as exciting as it ended up, it probably would have been a little bit more exciting had we not had a call.
Oh, Danny coming away with the third-place finish, as Kyle mentioned earlier in the show, and debuting in Frank Fleming's car, of which Frank has gotten out. He, along with Chris, and Danny's going to be a regular that you'll have to deal with each and every race on the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. Let me ask you a question. I've been to Caraway before, and I guess when I went, it was before you guys did the live pit stops. You had 16 cars in the field. Was there the ability to separate everybody? Is there enough room to separate 16 cars on pit road, or is it so small on that pit road area where you didn't have a choice, where you were kind of nose to tail with somebody else in your pit stall?
Yeah, Caraway it probably has one of the tightest pit roads that we go to. It's not set up, like a Concord or a Myrtle Beach or something where it has a full-blown pit wall with pit stalls that run parallel to the racetrack. Basically, they had to cram everybody in those stalls, and it does make it really, really tight. And that's what happened with us. We came in leading the race, and I kind of got aimed out, and the 28 car came in. He was pitting right in front of me, and when he came in, he kind of came in at an angle, not necessarily on purpose, but he didn't have room to swing in and around. So it blocked us in to where we had to back up. It does make it tough, but you're talking about the difference between the live pit stop versus the halfway pit stop. I think it's safe for me to say, and for everybody that I've talked to, drivers, fans, whoever it may be, that the live pit stop is so much better than the halfway break. The halfway break to me, well, yourself, fans don't want to, there's no timeout. You know what I mean? It's not like a football or basketball game. You don't have a timeout in racing. And it also changes the dynamics of the race. For example, the 11 car, he's short pitted. So when everybody else came in, and he inherited the lead and led a bunch of laps. Had everybody come in together, I don't think you would have seen as many leaders and as much passing. So the live pit stop is definitely more exciting, and I think it helps our sport.
Changes up the strategy, as you mentioned, short pitting, late pitting, gives people and different teams different options over the course of an event. With just a short schedule, Burt, we've seen drivers get off to a rough start. I believe George Brunholzl just a year ago had a tough start in the first 2-3 events and really had a tough time digging out of the hole because it's such a short schedule. How important is it to start the year on a strong note, being you only have 10 or 11 races to decide this year's champion, and race one in victory lane? How important is that for just momentum purposes?
Well, I think that's the main thing is momentum. It kind of takes that weight off your shoulders. It kind of gets you rolling in the right direction. But like you talked about with the 28 car last year, that's a prime example. Georgia was one of the best cars all year, but he got behind so early it was hard to play catch up. So it is always important, and the competition now on this tour, with the spec motor being introduced, I think everybody it's kind of equalized the field. It puts more of the driver and setup and chassis into play, which I prefer. But yeah, it's I tell you what, for me personally, it's a big relief. I didn't realize it till the other night that the announcer let me know that was the first time I had ever won the season opener. So, hey, that's a good thing, man. And like
Hey,
I said, it
listen to
keeps
those
your
announcers
momentum.
now. Yeah, they won't steer you wrong.
Like I said, it's not just for points and on paper, but morally and spiritually, and we've worked so hard, and even though we've got a short schedule on the NASCAR Southern Tour, we run races everywhere else too. So it kind of gets us going and gets everybody ready to go to the next race. Where whenever you got a shop full of guys that are volunteer, and you go out that first week and then the second week and the third week, and you have bad finishes or bad luck, it kind of gets everybody down just a little bit. So I've got guys, my guys are calling me and congratulating, and everybody's pumped up, and they're coming over to the shop tonight to get some work done. So it kind of just puts everybody in better spirits.
Yeah, when that fourth race of the season is done, April the 16th, that's when the big break happens. But that's also a few days before Bowman Gray kicks in. And, of course, if you're not running to Bowman Gray, like you mentioned, there are many drivers. There's very few on the tour that have that car just sitting perfectly still in the driveway. Kyle and I have been very excited and talked to a lot of drivers so far this year with regards to the return to Concord Speedway. And obviously one of the stats has you up top. And I was amazed, a speed of 118 miles an hour in qualifying back in 2009. We've both been to that racetrack, but that just shows how phenomenal this short track is. It's kind of in between a short track and a medium-sized racetrack, but I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back over there this weekend.
Oh, man, I tell you, Concord is my favorite track by far. The North-South Shootout used to run there years ago, and, of course, it came back last year, and we were able to run there in another tour last year. There's nothing like Concord. I don't care what anybody says. It's a whole different animal. It's a driver's track. It's one of those tracks where it's kind of unique in the fact, of course, the way it's laid out. When you look at an aerial shot, anybody that's listening, if you've never seen an aerial shot of Concord, go check it out. And when I tell you that when you can get in the gas, you nail the gas in turn one, and you don't let out until you get to turn three, you'd never believe it without seeing it. That D-shaped backstretch, that dog leg they call it, to run through there wide open in a modified is the most exhilarating feeling you'll feel. And I'm fortunate enough that I've always run good there. I kind of fell in love with the place the very first time. It's just one of those tracks that we enjoy going to, and we put it on our schedule. Whenever I saw that the tour was going there this year, we were very excited. So it being the second race and coming off a victory and going to my favorite track this weekend, man, I'm looking to make it two in a row.
Is that the biggest key to getting around Concord is hammer down from the exit of turn one to the entry to turn three, not lifting in the dog leg? Because I believe we had a driver tell us last week where if you lift once, your first time there, you're going to do it all the time. So you better just first time out, just trust the car, trust everybody's advice to you, and not lifting from 1 to 3. Is that the biggest key to getting around that racetrack?
There is so many keys there, but yes, you better you better have your belts tight. I know the very first time I went there, man, I guess in the early 90s, mid-90s, and my dad had already run there a couple times, and that was the big thing. Hold it wide open through the dog leg. That's all everybody talked about. Excuse me. So the very first time I got to Concord, I got it in my mind, I'm going through there wide open. I didn't care how I got in the corner. I didn't care how I got through 3 and 4. I had it in my mind, hold it wide open through the dog leg. So I got up on the hill there on the third lap through, and I held it wide open. And I've been wide open through there pretty much ever since. But it is one of the keys, but the way that track is laid out, I call it on the hill because it's not really turn one. It's kind of turn one and turn two put together. I call it up on the hill there where the tunnel is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key part where you got to be able to get in the gas there and keep your traction and not get tight. You got to be able to get through the dog leg, but you also have to be able to get turned and get off of turn 4. So the track is just so unique. It's a track that if you haven't been to one in years and you're looking for somewhere to go this Saturday night, I would make it a point to come out to Concord.
One quick wrap-up, and I want to tie it in with your brother Jason. You guys have had a great career on the NASCAR Wheel and Southern Modified Tour and also at Bowman Gray. We were looking at some of the stats that we're seeing post up on the board. You've got 107 top 10 finishes. I believe one more finish in the top 10 for Jason puts him in that century mark category as well. How much do you follow Jason, and how proud are you of the success that he's had as well?
Oh, well, I mean, we've always said, if I can't win, I want Jason to win. And it's the other way around for him. even though it's separate accomplishments, our cars are in this shop. I'm standing here at my shop now. Our cars are 20 feet apart in here in the garage. We use the same hauler, of course, the same parents, same, we're a family here. So, there's been times where I was more emotional. I think, just for an example, we'll reminisce here just a little bit. The tour race that Jason won at Bowman Gray years ago, I think it might have been 06, was one of the first times I was ever emotional in the race car with 5 to go. And I was 3 laps down, and Jason was leading the race. So just to give you an idea, that's how passionate we are about our family and about how we operate as a family, as a team. Now, don't get me wrong. If it comes down to me and Jason battling for the win, I want to be the one to win the race. But if I can't, I hope he does, and it's the other way around. So we're both proud of each other. I think it's a testament of how we were raised and the dedication and the passion that was instilled in us to make sure you do it right.
All right.
This is not just, it sounds cliche, but it's not just a hobby for us.
April
This is
20th
our life.
season
This
opener.
is our lifestyle. This is what we do.
I know. April 20th season opener. Oh, you
so
still
it's
talking?
pretty special.
No, I'm just thinking April 20th season opener, Bowman Gray. I'm going to just do a headline right now. Myers spins Myers off a turn 4.
Now, wait a minute. You know what? I'm not. I don't have any wood here. I'm gonna use my head. We haven't had any altercations. I think the very first year Jason ran modified, there was a little altercation where a lap car was involved and somebody got turned around there. But we haven't been in that situation yet. There's been times where he was following me and I was following him, and it got heated. But I think that's how modifieds race, and I think that's where a lot of guys get lost is. Modifieds have bumpers that line up on purpose. That doesn't mean you have to knock a man, slam out of the way. It doesn't mean that you have to spin a man or wreck a man. But if I catch a man and I'm faster than him, it's my job to use that front bumper. Well, look at my Facebook page. My saying is, if a man's using his back bumper to keep me behind him, it's my job to use my front bumper to get past him. That's the way a modified works. And as long as you and the guy you're racing with understand that, you can do it every week and never have any problems. So, the fact that me and Jason have to operate down here together, I guess maybe that is something that stays on our mind more than it does against guys you race with that you don't see all the time.
And those bumpers may be used this Saturday night for race number 2 in the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour at Concord Speedway. Burt, we'll see you out at the track in just a couple of days, and congratulations on the win this past weekend at Caraway.
Thank you, guys. I sure do appreciate what you're doing for our sport.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. Burt Myers, the big winner and early point leader for 2016 on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, but race number 2 this Saturday night at the Concord Speedway. When we come back, the newest winner in the NASCAR world, Tyler Dippel, will join us after the break.
Coming back with more of NASCAR Coast to Coast, it's Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Join the Motor Racing Network every Tuesday evening for NASCAR Live. Eli Gold, along with the cast of MRN personalities, will take you into the sport of NASCAR like you've never heard before.
And the intent was right there. There wasn't no, oh, oops, I bumped into him. This was, look out, here I come.
And what would NASCAR be without the fans?
As a fan, it was like, whoa.
It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
This is NASCAR K&N Pro Series driver Cameron Haley, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MotorRacingNetwork.com. Now back to Kyle and Buddy.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, presented by Hercules Tire. Kyle Rickey, Buddy Long, joined now by the newest winner in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. At just 15 years of age, went to victory lane in his second career start this past Sunday. And we're talking about Tyler Dippel winning at the Mobile 150, Mobile International Raceway in Alabama. Tyler, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your very first win in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. Got to be a big day for you.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me here. And just, Yeah, it's still so unreal. It's just starting to sink in. I really can't even believe it. Just in the second start, just the guys gave me a good enough car to just take away the win. It's just so awesome.
Well, you had a good run in New Smyrna. We had a chance to talk to you there during pre-race festivities. Brought the car home in one piece and get a good solid finish. I guess that's option, or I guess item number one. Finish the race, get everything going good there, and then going to Mobile. But as we mentioned before, one of the things that impresses us so much about these young drivers, and as you mentioned in your post-race interviews, keeping those tires underneath of you, managing the tires, and keeping that car up front. You did an excellent job for somebody that's used to trying to manage tires on a dirt track instead of asphalt.
Oh, yeah, I think that helped me a whole lot win that race just because we're just so used to bigger motors, and just it really helped me keep the tires underneath me, and just throttle control. It just helped me a whole lot conserve tires. I think I did a pretty good job conserving tires. Just I'm learning more of them, getting better and better in each time, and just conserve the tires, and those guys gave me an awesome car. The car was perfect. It was just one of those times where you just get that perfect car. That was it.
Held off Spencer Davis, Jesse Little, Austin Terrio, and Kaz Gralla, the top 5. Kyle Benjamin was 6, Harrison Burton 7th, Hunter Bays in 8th, Justin Haley 9th, Ronnie Bassett Jr. rounded out the top 10. But it wasn't easy for you there at the end. 2 caution flags in the final 10 laps. How stressful is that as a race leader?
I've probably never been more nervous inside a race car, to tell you the truth. I was nervous there. I knew we were faster once we got separated, but it's just on the restarts, you just never know what's going to happen. But I was really nervous. I was just keep thinking to myself, clean shifts, and we got this thing. You just hit your marks, and we'll be good.
And typically that's the way it works. You have a dominant car all day long, you're leading, and then it comes down to a late race caution or two, and all of a sudden everything changes, and the driver who you thought was going to end up in victory lane doesn't, but in this case, Tyler did. As we mentioned, and many people know, you came from the dirt modified racing wars. As I told you, down in Florida, New Smyrna, I was already tabbing you as the next Stuart Friesen or Matt Shepard in dirt modified racing, which I think you said you're still going to continue on. But what led to the transition, the discussion with the folks at H. Scott Motorsports with Justin Marks to make that transition to K&N Racing?
Oh, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of people that support me, just making phone calls, and we got a great opportunity, came up, and we jumped on it to get in the number 38 team with H. Scott with Justin Marks, and the transition, they were a little worried about, but I think we did pretty good in the transition. It's just, you got to be, the only thing I really noticed the difference, you got to be really, really consistent more in asphalt. You got to hit the same exact line the whole race. Where in dirt, you kind of want to play around a little bit. The grip changes. But, the transition was it was okay, but I think just getting used to it more and more, and it's going pretty good so far.
You were the Rookie of the Year in the Dirt Car Northeast a year ago, running the Modifieds. How much dirt racing will you do this year? I know Buddy and I talked to you during pre-race activity at New Smyrna, and you said that you were hoping to continue on racing not only just full-time in K&N this year for H. Scott Motorsports with Justin Marks, but also run back up north and run some dirt car stuff. What's your schedule look like right now?
Oh, yeah, we're going to, of course, do the full K&N East tour, but we got scheduled around 20 to 30 races, so we're going to still do a lot of the big block Northeast stuff, try and hit as many different series races when the schedule allows, but yeah, we're going to be doing a whole lot. The first race is actually this Saturday coming up at New Egypt Speedway in New Jersey. I'll be running there for the first time up north.
And that's got a good crop of modified talent. That's always been there historically. You know that there's one track, if he was doing modified racing, he ought to go to Devil's Bowl Speedway. I know it's all the way up in Vermont, but they made the announcement this year or this offseason, Mike Bruno, the track owner and general manager, that both the dirt and the asphalt facilities would fall under the NASCAR sanction. And when you look at that, they count your best 18 wins or finishes. There's some drivers that will transition from Friday to Saturday night running both dirt and asphalt modified. And these are the dirt big block modified style cars. So, Tyler, I guess I'll switch gears and go back to modified racing for a moment. Have you ever had the chance to run your modified car on the asphalt? Or if you have or haven't, what's the biggest transition for a car like that? Not like a tour type modified, but a dirt big block modified to make the switch from a dirt to an asphalt track.
Oh, I've actually never ran on asphalt, but I know they do run some races that they do, like you're saying there. but I've never got a chance to run mine on asphalt, but I really don't know. I can't really answer a whole lot because I don't know how they would react, but I'm sure they would be a blast to drive, and they'd just be really, really cool to see on asphalt. I personally never drove one, but maybe in the future this year, maybe I'll get a chance to take it out and put it on an asphalt track.
So you save tires, and tire management helped you win this past Sunday at Mobile International Raceway. Now we go to Greenville Pickens Speedway in just over a week's time, where tire management just as crucial. Buddy and I have been there before, and the race pace there when they're saving tires is amazing from start to finish. How much do you know about Greenville Pickens Speedway? Obviously, I don't think you have run there before, but have any of your teammates kind of given you a heads up on what you might expect when we get to Greenville Pickens here in about 10 days' time?
Oh, yeah, I've actually ran here a couple times before in a super. We actually have a top 5 here, but yeah, just tire conservation is just so crucial. I remember I couldn't even get over quarter throttle at the end of the race. Like, the fall off is just so critical. These guys, they'll give me a good car. That's just got to keep reminding me, save the tires, and whoever definitely saves the tires the best is for sure going to be the winner, because that's the biggest thing here.
And when you look at the schedule that they just had up a few moments ago, from Greenville Pickens to the High Bank Short Track of Bristol Motor Speedway, you got the road course at VIR in there as well. You've got an all-new Dominion Raceway that nobody really knows much about. Rather diverse schedule this year.
The big tracks of New Hampshire
and
Dover.
You picked a very good season to come in, because obviously you're going to have a lot of different tracks to choose from. Let me ask you, from the transition to modifieds into the K&N, when you were running modifieds, and I know you're very young, you'll be 16 in just a couple of weeks, are you a hands-on driver, or are you one that just, tells your crew chief and your crew in the modified, okay, this is what we need to do? Or do you get out of the car once you get back in the pits, and the same in the K&N series, and not only just offer the advice, but try to get in there and be a part of remedying the problem?
Oh, yeah, in the dirt car for sure. I'm definitely hands-on. I'm at the shop every night after school working on that thing every night, and just I pretty much put the whole thing together, me and my 2 guys, Al, and we have Matt Hearn as crew chief. It's just us 3 that work on the cars, and he's taught me so much. And I basically, when you work on the car, I feel like you understand your race car a whole lot more, and you could get what you want instead of just telling them, oh, I feel this. But when you start to work on it, you can understand, oh, let me change this to get to that. So I feel like it makes you a better driver to help you understand that more. And Fuzz, my crew chief, I don't know a whole lot about the K&N cars, but he's teaching me a whole lot, and I think I'll learn quick, but definitely hands-on. I'm at the shop as much as I can. Go there right after school every week at the track, just working on it for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely a hands-on driver.
That was going to be my next question. You mentioned you go there after school. Well, it's 12:38 Eastern Time on a Wednesday afternoon. You're 15 years old. Are you at school right now? Do we have to get you out of class to do this interview?
Oh, yeah, I actually skipped school. We're actually at Greenville testing right now. So,
we didn't hear that. We didn't hear that. When the truant officers come and question us, we know nothing. We know nothing.
All right, yeah.
So where are you testing?
Days we'll be on spring break, so it'll be all good after that.
Where are you testing at, Tyler?
We're actually at the Greenville Speedway. We
right.
got Redner Racing and the whole H. Scott team in Austin, Ontario. We got a whole bunch of people testing here today at the open test.
There you go.
Awesome. We could have gone taking the show down to Greenville Pickens had we known that, and just had a good preview for the Kevin Whitaker Chevrolet 150. Good looking car, and I know you've had a lot of success very early in life with regards to the dirt modifieds, and I was very impressed when I was sitting in the stands of Volusia Speedway Park during the World Series racing for the times that you were there. You've done so well there. You've made a name for yourself in such a short period of time, as you have in the K&N series. Do you sometimes find yourself overwhelmed at the immediate success that you've had in both the modified and the K&N car?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just blessed to have all the success that we've had, and it's just such a humbling sport because, I'm so happy that we've run successful, but, one week you could go out and win, and, next week you could be getting lapped by the leader. So you got to always take the highs and the lows. You got to enjoy the highs while you're there, but you also just got to keep working hard. But, yeah, I'm also very happy that we've been successful so early in the career, but just, yeah,
And I'm sure the test today, we'll be looking for 2 in a row when we get to the Greenville Piggins Speedway in just over a week from now. Tyler, best of luck to you at Greenville when we see you down there in 9 or so days from now. And congratulations on the win at Mobile this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Before you let me go, I'd just like to thank the whole H-Scott team, all the guys that have helped me got this far, all the crew guys that work in the shop, my sponsors, Tycar Trenchless Technologies, East West Marine, DNA Concrete, my mom and dad, Glenn Sullivan, Matt Hearn, and all the fans especially, because without them we wouldn't be here.
A lot of folks behind a race team and a young driver like Tyler, and I promise we won't let the school system know where you are today.
Yeah, don't let them know.
No,
if I could be there, I would be too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Good for you.
Tyler Dippel joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, just 15 years of age and doing mighty well for himself, both first on dirt and now on asphalt.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing dirt modified talent, and to see him make the transition, I mean, just at 14, 15, probably had to be at least 14 last year, and did so well, in modified racing. But to transition over, and of course, H. Scott's got some good notes. William Byron won that race there a year ago, so look out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's coming up in just over a week from now. When we come back, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West will open up their 2016 season this weekend at the Irwindale Speedway. Last year's championship runner-up, Noah Gregson, will join us to preview it after the break.
NASCAR Coast to Coast will be right back on MRN.com.
Be the winner of your next family dinner. Choose Creekstone Farms Premium Black Angus Beef, proud sponsor of MRN. Act fast because while supplies last, you can get 2 delicious beef brisket flats for just $79.99. That's a savings of almost $30. Plus, receive free shipping with your online order of $100 or more. No coupon code required. Get first place taste with our superior quality beef and pork products, all raised and grazed in the USA. Visit us today at creekstonefarms.com.
The Toyota Racing Team wants to take a quick moment to congratulate Kyle Busch on his 2015 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship that he won in the Camry. Don't worry, this will be as fast as Kyle in his Camry. How fast is Kyle? So fast he's won a ton of races across all NASCAR series. Plus, he's won 133 of Toyota's 332 NASCAR victories. He's even won 38 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series races in the Tundra. And now here he is, wearing the 2015 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship crown. So yeah, Kyle is really fast. We're proud of him and all the folks at Joe Gibbs Racing, whose teamwork made this win possible. Keep those checkered flags waving and take another victory lap in your Camry, Kyle. Good luck to all our drivers in the 2016 season. Head over to ToyotaRacing.com to find more info about the Toyota Racing Team and Kyle's journey to victory. Better get there fast before Kyle wins another race. Let's go NASCAR. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
This is NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour driver Ron Silk, and you're listening to NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Now back to Kyle and Buddy.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network, presented by Hercules Tire. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series West will open up this weekend at the Irwindale Speedway in California. Last year's championship runner-up is Noah Gregson. He joins us now on the guest line. But Noah, this is far from the first race for you this season. You've been busy. You were at New Smyrna Speedway. You ran the Chili Willy at Tucson. You ran the Winter Showdown at Kern County. You've been busy since the new year. Yes, I could think this is what, your 4th or 5th major event to open up the K&N West Series this weekend.
Yeah, we've had a lot of races so far compared to some of the other guys on the K&N Pro Series West season. But I'm pumped up to get ready and see all my buddies from the West Coast, Ryan Partridge, Todd going, Grayson, all those kind of guys. Can't wait to get back to Irwindale. It's a historic track, and it's very iconic, and it's a lot of fun racing there, and I just can't wait.
Gave everybody a preview of some of the drivers that are going to be at Irwindale this upcoming weekend, and a relative who's who of who's going to be there. Some drivers missing, but no matter what, with all the shuffling that has happened in the off-season, it looks like it's going to be as competitive a season as it ever was, even more so than 2015.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of sweating coming into Irwindale. There's going to be a lot of good teams. I think there's 25 cars that are going to be there, and you got Bill McAnally Racing, Sunrise Ford, JPR, then NTS Motorsports is going to be there, and there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters, but I feel like we've prepared, and we ran 2 East races so far for the K&N East, and New Smyrna and Mobile, Alabama. We just got back from Mobile, and I'm pumped up. They're finishing up my Irwindale car up in Washington, and I just can't wait. We've prepared all season or off season long to get the season started, and I just can't wait.
Second in points last year, just 7 behind championship winner Chris Eggleston. What more did you need last year to win that championship? I know it came down to the final lap of the final race, but if you could go back in time and change one thing about last year, what would it be?
Just being able to finish all the laps, just being there at the end, not making stupid mistakes. I was at Shasta, and I feel like that's part of the reason why we lost the championship is I just made a dumb mistake, and a guy on the restart kind of missed the shift, and I dove down the bottom and passed him on the inside, and I got black flag for it. Had to make a pass to the pit, so that definitely set us back, and we ended up 16th that race and went 8 laps down due to a flat tire there at the end. But I think if I didn't make a mistake like that, we would have been. Like I said, we only finished 7 points out of the championship running, so I feel like if we didn't have that go for us and some other bad luck, and that we could have been there at the end. But we're coming back stronger, and I've been working out, been eating healthy, and just trying to get the best I could be coming into the season, trying to prepare. My spotter, Brandon McReynolds, he's really been a big influence on me as just a person, just trying to get better as a person, and just trying to be more focused in general. Last year it hurt so bad not being able to come home with that championship trophy, and I was down about it, but we're going to come back stronger, and we've been preparing, and I'm ready for it.
And that's where I was going to go next. A lot of drivers are always anxious for a new season to get underway. You had to be more anxious than any driver by virtue of just finishing out by a few scant points to Chris Eggleston last year. Got off to a great start, though, 6th at Irwindale last year. Can you take us back through that race and remember some of the things that transpired that led to a 6th-place finish and things that you feel that you may be able to improve on to get you closer to victory lane this year for this weekend?
Yeah, I think I've definitely developed as a driver since Irwindale last year. It's been a full year, so I think I've developed. I still have a long way to go, but one of the things last year is I didn't have much experience. It was my second stock car race for K&N, and I didn't know. We wanted to say our game plan going into it is what we wanted to save tires and really be there at the end, but we got a really long green flag run that wasn't really normal compared to the recent races and the last couple of years before that, and it seemed like they had a lot of caution. So we had a really long green flag run there at the end, and just couldn't catch a caution and worked our way up to the front, but just saved for too long. And I think that we're gonna be better than we were last year, just because I know how to drive these race cars a little bit better. I'm more comfortable, and I'm more comfortable with the team as well. And I feel like we've gotten better since then, and we'll come back stronger.
You know, in the National Series and Sprint Cup, Xfinity, and Truck, you talk about 2 and 3 car and truck teams seem to have more advantage than the single car teams. This year, or at least this weekend, 3 cars for you guys with the addition of Hannah Newhouse. How will that help you, at least this weekend in the short term, with 3 cars on the racetrack, you, Gragson, and Hannah?
Yeah, I think it can't hurt having 3 cars. Just more notes for the team and whatnot. But Grayson and myself, we've worked really well together, and we're best friends, and we like to compare our notes and get with each other and see where one teammate's better, and try and help each other on that. So I think that it's a huge benefit having a teammate that's willing to help, and we're both buddies. So what goes on the racetrack, it doesn't really affect our friendship and whatnot. So I'm actually going to hang out with Gragson after school today. I'm at school right now, but I'm going to hang out with him and his little brother. His first legend car races this weekend at the bull ring, so I'm going to go out there and support him, and then we're off to Irwindale.
Yeah, we need to relabel this show NASCAR Cradle Robbers or something like that. It's crazy. I know you're very hard on yourself right now by virtue of what could have been, but, again, Kyle and I were in total awe with the Jefferson Pitts transition from Gene Price Motorsports and the great job that you and Grayson Raz did. The parity in the series between Bill McAnally, Jefferson Pitts, Bob Brancotti was incredible. But through all of this, obviously, as people are aware, victories at Tucson and Meridian last year. This season, we add another road course, the Utah Motorsports Campus, formerly known as Miller Motorsports Park in Tooele, Utah, back on for a double dip of road course racing. You had a good road course run at Sonoma, 7th. Are you excited to have yet another road course back on the schedule this year?
Yeah, I like road course racing. I don't want to say I grew up racing road course racing, but since I got started racing kind of later in my career, but I ran legend cars on the road course, and I've ran a legend car up at Sonoma, and I think that definitely helped for our run last year at Sonoma. But there's a lot of heavy hitters at Sonoma. There's some road course ringers. You get a couple Cup guys every year that run that race for experience. So it's hard to win that race and to finish well. And I think David Mayhew will be back this year for that race, and maybe Kern, but I'm pumped up. We went to Watkins Glen last year, and I'm trying to do the full K&N West and East Series this year. So we have VIR on the East and New Jersey Motorsports Park along with Watkins Glen up in New York. So I'm pumped up. We got a lot of road course races, 6 this year. So there's only one way to get better at them, and that's just to gain more seat time on the road courses.
Something we talked about when I saw you a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas was trying to do the double dip, and I think one event, Iowa, you'll have to select where you receive points, whether it be the East or the West. But as far as looking at the logistics of trying to do that back and forth, literally coast to coast, how difficult is it going to be once the West Series gets cranked up here? It's been a bit easier with only the East Series running the last, 5 weeks since New Smyrna opened up and then last week at Mobile. But when both series open up and they're either racing on alternate weekends or maybe even the same weekend, how difficult will that be logistically?
So it's really tough, not only on myself, but on all the guys on the team. They've been working long hours every single day. They haven't taken a day off, and we were actually just debating in Mobile, Alabama. You already mentioned earlier in the show that Tyler Dippel was an H-Scott we're testing up in Greenville, and we were going to go test up there. My East car is up at the shop at Brandon McReynolds' shop, and we're going to go test there tomorrow, but the guys had to finish up the cars back here in Washington for Irwindale to get ready. So it's hard. We were talking about flying out to Greenville on Thursday. They had to load the West cars up and by Wednesday night, and they would fly to Greenville on Thursday, and then we'd test Thursday and then fly back to Irwindale on Friday morning and test there. But just things didn't work out, and they didn't want to have to do their job. They wanted to get our Irwindale car to the full it's going to be and make it perfect before we went to Irwindale. We want to win that race, and it's going to be hard. I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I'm racing back-to-back weekends up until, let me see, August 5th. August 5th. Wow. I'm racing back-to-back weekends till August 5th, so it's definitely going to be a challenge, but my guys from Jefferson Pitts Racing, they work their tails off, and they haven't taken a day off. So since sometime last year, so another few months isn't going to kill them, I don't think. But,
it killed me listening to you.
yeah. But I'm just so pumped up to have the team that supports me and that are willing to take the extra mile to put in the extra work, and it really shows on the racetrack.
And he's going to be a gold member for for whatever airline he's flying by the time August rolls around.
He's going to surpass Eli on Emperor status on Delta.
Noah, best of luck to you this weekend, and we'll be talking again soon.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate talking to you guys.
All right, that is Noah Gregson, NASCAR K&N Pro Series West driver. Like Tyler, will let him get back to class as well so he can plan his after-school activity. When we come back, we're going to preview the upcoming weekend of short track racing around the country when this edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast rolls on.
Coming back with more of NASCAR Coast to Coast, it's Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long right after this.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Spring Break Deals event. Take advantage of O'Reilly's Do It Right rebate and get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
I feel like experience kind of outweighs youth.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Kyle Busch driving for his life right now.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
Our lives are so much different than what people may think they are.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com. Here's Kyle and Buddy.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, presented by Hercules Tire. Kyle Rickey, Buddy Long, wrapping up another edition. A busy weekend coming up, and don't forget, MRN.com, even though we're with you only 1 hour a week, which is probably more than enough for some folks. They can get all the results, great articles, and great stories about these NASCAR K&N East and West drivers, along with the NASCAR Modifieds and even the NASCAR Pinty Series at our website, mrn.com.
And for you Canadian fans, May 22nd, it's still a ways off. They're getting there, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Hey, congrats to Matt Bowling. He came out with a vengeance at South Boston. Did you see the car count there,
31.
too? My goodness, that was great. 2 victories in late model competition for him. Bobby McCarty and Austin Thaxton were the top 3. Lee Pulliam again, 20th in race number 1, but here he came.
Finished second in race number 2.
Right up there in race number 2. Austin Thaxton was 3rd in that second race.
The late models were off at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Tasha Kummer picked up the race win in the limited late models. The late models are back in action this Saturday night, though, as the premier class, as that series and that division begins to get into the third week of their season now. I guess
it would be the third,
Speedway, and it will be the second week for the late models.
Yeah, Anderson Speedway will be running this weekend, March the 18th. So some of the drivers that run at Greenville Pickens will be running over there this weekend. Josh Berry picking up the first race victory for him for the year in the Paramount Kia Big Ten Challenge at Hickory. Matt Piercy, Dexter Knipe Jr., Christian X, and opening day winner Ryan Millington, that 14-year-old, I believe, coming home in the top 5. They'll be next in action coming up this weekend. Actually, it's the Whelen All-American Series season opener for those drivers.
And that's coming up this Saturday night at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Tucson Speedway in Arizona, we talked about the Chili Willy earlier this season, open up their year, a big event, but their NASCAR Whelen All-American Series opener will be this Saturday night. Irwindale will also have their Whelen All-American weekly divisions on track.
Say
as
that
well.
5 times.
With the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. New Smyrna will have their season opener this week, so we're seeing a lot of racetracks begin to open up the gates for 2016.
Yeah, the Bull Ring, are they opening up, I think? I have
2
to
weeks.
check the schedule. 2 more weeks
I
for the
believe,
Bull Ring. A lot of tracks opening up the beginning of April, so fear not. I mean, if you can get past Easter weekend, they're sporadic right now. But once April hits, it's on.
Concrete Jungle, Kingsport Speedway in Tennessee opens up this Saturday night as well, and South Boston's back in action as well. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the show here this weekend. We'll be back with you next week. Burt Myers, Tyler Dippel, Noah Gregson, for Craig Moore and Buddy Long. I'm Kyle Rickey. We'll see you back here next Tuesday.
This has been NASCAR Coast to Coast with MRN short track experts Kyle Rickey and Buddy Long. Tune in next Wednesday at noon at MRN.com for more talk from NASCAR home tracks and touring series. NASCAR Coast to Coast is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.